Hello, everyone. My name is Rafi, and I'm happy to meet you all. And today they released the ban list update for the KC Cup in November, so we could finally check and see what's going to be changed. And if I was right in my prediction video, that should be fun. Let's take a look. This is completely blind. All right, first up, Bish Balkan is banned, and Summon Breaker is banned. Okay. Those are two annoying cards that were put to limit 1 a while ago, specifically so that people couldn't play Bish Balkan with Catapult Turtle, and so that Summon Breaker couldn't be played with Ancient Fairy Dragon and Terraforming. And I guess they just decided that, well, that's not good enough. Fair enough. Yeah, there was right, Ghost Tricks were using the skill to get Summon Breaker to search with their they have a trap card that lets them search any field spell, because Ghost Tricks have like 3 different field spells. And Phantasmal Lord Ultimi Bishbalkin was being made in Floor, just to flood the board with tokens and then pass as like a floodgate, which is funny. I don't know what to tell you. That was just funny. So I had no problems getting Bish Balkan even when I lost. But I guess it happened to too many people. They were just annoyed. Sure, that's fine. The text that Konami put in is, this card forces other decks in the current metagame to include cards that counter it, so it'll be limited to enable greater deck building flexibility. That's fair. If people are having to include countermeasures to these cards, and that's like changing the decks, like the makeup of the meta, then those cards have become meta warping, and that is a situation where you have to ask yourself, what do you want to do? How do you fix that? And some cards do need to be banned. I'm not happy about this. I don't want the forbidden list in Duel Links to get too big, and at this point we're almost at 10 cards, which is a lot of cards to be banned, like completely banned. I mean, the problem is that you could foresee things like this. Like, what is Bish Balkan good for, except this, except burn and this? If you don't want people to make Bish Balkan pass, or people to use Bish Balkan with Catapult Turtle, don't add it to the game to begin with. You have that ability. There are cards in this game that have not been added for the entire time that Duel Links has existed. Like, we don't have Pot of Greed. We don't have Graceful Charity. That's not because the sets that they existed in haven't been printed. It's because the game understands those cards are broken. So Konami is very clearly making sure that certain cards don't get added. Like, for example, Crooked Crown. They printed a lot of the Magical Musket cards, and they didn't give us Magical Musket Crooked Crown because they knew that would be broken, in specifically the Duel Links format. So then they should be smarter, and they should not add these cards that they're going to ban later. Why did they give us Nightmare Mermaid if they were just going to ban it in less than a year? Like, I don't like cards being added, people having fun with them, adding them to their decks, playtesting and making cool combos, then other people getting upset, and then the ban happening. Like, you're impacting the entire meta at that point. You're hurting players who are enjoying the card, and you're hurting players who hate the card by forcing them to play against it. So just don't print them. This is very frustrating, but I mean, I guess this is a good change. Alright, Lyrilisk assembled Nightingale to 1. I said this like in my ban list prediction before the last one. Just because Nightingale was a real big problem. But I guess Lyrilisk was too new last time, so they've done it this time. That's fine. This card will be limited to improve the pacing of duels. That's fine. Hieratic Seal of Reflection. Okay, there was a leak that there's going to be like a new hieratic skill. So they're doing more preemptive limits. This is a limit 1 though? Hold on, let me see. Hieratic Seal of Reflection. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, tribute one hieratic monster, negate the activation if you destroy it. Oh, so this is going to be like a Omni Negate that's not once per turn. And could potentially be a probably searchable. Yeah, that's really powerful. I'm fine with an Omni Negate being limit 1 in this game. Periplant Drosophilum Hydra is limited to 1. This is a card that a lot of people were hoping would get like hit in some way, because it's a searchable kaiju that comes on your side of the field. I understand that Predaplants are powerful, but I don't think that's a problem. I think Predaplant is like an example of a deck that we would want to be powerful in this game. But I can understand that people like feel like the free Predaplant counter is a little unfair. And kaijus in general are like a card type that people don't have to deal with very much for some reason. So they feel like it's unfair to have their monster be tributed when that's like the hardest form of removal to play around. Because it's not an activated effect and it doesn't target and it doesn't destroy and everything else. I get that. But those cards exist in the game, so you're going to have to get used to it at some point. Just because Duel Links doesn't really... Just because the Duel Links player base does not play too many kaijus yet, does not mean that kaijus are not coming at some point. They should be, because they're so good. Like, as the new cards that we get become more and more powerful, and as trap cards become slower and slower, you will see more people cut trap cards for kaiju. So you have to get used to it at some point. Now, I understand that Drosophilum Hydra is kind of a special exception because the kaiju monster is summoned to the player's side of the field as opposed to your side of the field, but that really doesn't matter because Predaplants just play super polymerization on like 3 different cards anyway. So whether the Hydra was on their side of the field or your side of the field really doesn't matter. They'll still use it as fusion material. But from like a monkey brain like fairness perspective, it probably seems to you like a kaiju appearing on your side of the field is less bad than a kaiju appearing on their side of the field. Fair. But still, this card was a kaiju that needed a skill to work, and there are plenty of kaijus that are in the game that do not need a skill to work. So if you have a problem with this, get a strategy to counter it, because other kaiju cards will see more play sooner rather than later. You know, when we get a card like Gamma Seal, for example, you're going to have to deal with it at some point. So, you can't rely on the meta changes to fix your deck all the time. Predaplanet. Was this card even getting played? If a monster with a Predator counter leaves the field while this card is on the field, add 1 Predap card from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard to fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. Only Predaplant monsters can be used as material. I don't think I saw this getting played, but I admittedly did not look at like the top KC Cup decks. So hold on, let me pull that up. Top 100 global, 1 Predaplanet, 1 Predaplanet, 1 Predaplanet. Okay. Alright, so it does look like people were playing Predaplanet at 1. I'm guessing that there's like some way to mill this that I'm not aware of. Do Predaplants have a way to like send a Predaplant card from the deck to the graveyard? Or I guess they were probably maybe adding it to the hand and then discarding it. You wouldn't use this card. You just want to discard it so you can fuse with it. But okay. I mean, fair. Sure. Okay, yeah, this card, I mean, if this card's limit, you know, at 1, then putting Hydra to 1 takes them... what does the deck look like after this? Planet is gone, absolutely. And then the question is whether you play Hydra or Super Polymerization. I mean, you could still search Super Polymerization, so I feel like you would cut Hydra, to be honest. Because Hydra is a good removal, but Super Polymerization is a good removal that can't be responded to either, and it's during your opponent's turn as well. So, and you can use the Predaplant counter for other things. Yeah, I feel like both these cards get cut and Predaplants just keep playing Super Poly, but this is one I'm not sure about. I imagine that a lot of people will play Hydra over Super Poly, but I don't know which one's correct. Cobalt Sparrow limited to 2. I did say this card should be limited. I said it should be limited to 1 so that it would conflict with Assembled Nightingale. People did rightly tell me that that would kill the deck, but I mean, I didn't care. The deck should be killed. But limit 2 on Cobalt Sparrow is still good. This is like a card that... This is the card that's the most frustrating to deal with. So if you mark it as like the opponent can only play 2 of this, then people will feel more confident in targeting it and trying to get it off the board, especially with Book of Eclipse, right? If you play Book of Eclipse on Cobalt Sparrow, then they can try and use the second part of their skill to send Cobalt Sparrow to the graveyard and play another Cobalt Sparrow from their deck, but then that's all they've got left. They need that Cobalt Sparrow to actually be used as a material in order to give their Assembled Nightingale no targeting effects. So, as long as you can get rid of the Cobalt Sparrows, then the Assembled Nightingale can be targeted. So, only having 2 instead of 3 is going to make that a lot easier. Oh, Turquoise Warbler is also limited to 2. Okay, that is more interesting. I don't think people will just cut Cobalt Sparrow to 1. Cobalt Sparrow is too important, so I think this kills Turquoise Warbler. I think Turquoise Warbler is gone, which is quite a hit. Taking you from 5 main deck monsters down to 4 is a lot. That's like an entire effect being cut out of your deck. So, that's a rough hit. This is like a worse hit than the Assembled Nightingale hit. Oof. Phantasm Spiral Battle Limit 2. If all monsters you control are normal monsters, target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. If Yumi is on your field, you can activate this card from your hand, and you banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 normal monster you control, and equip all Phantasm Spiral cards you control that can equip to it. Okay, so this is limit 1 currently, and it's going to limit 2. They do that all the time. They try and like free cards that they over nerfed, and they do it slowly. There aren't any good limit 2s in the game right now, so putting a card to limit 2 is almost like freeing it, to be honest. It's better to be limit 2 than it is to be limit 3. But I don't know that you would play. Well, no. The destroy effect is the effect that's really good. Usually it's the other way around. Usually the first effect is terrible, and the banish from grave effect is the one that's important. But in this case, it's not. Yeah, you would play 2 of this just because you can pop cards, which is good. So yeah, okay. That'll make Phantasm Spiral better. I don't know how much better though. The deck is fairly decent. It's just not very popular because it was in a bad box, which is unfortunate. Like, it's sad that Phantasm Spiral was in such a skippable box, to be honest. I mean, I guess people went into it for sharks, but they didn't need to go into it for sharks too much, right? Like, no, there were people who got like 3 copies of that of the right hand shark, right? Huh. I wonder why we're not seeing too many Phantasm decks then. There's got to be like a decent number of people who went through that box 3 times then. I didn't touch it at all, which is sad. I kind of want to build this deck only from that box. Overflow is back to limit 2. This card will be the limitation of this card will be eased to allow greater flexibility when building a Cyber Dragon deck. They said that the last time when they limited it to 1. They were like, oh, well, you guys have been asking for Cyber Dragons to get eased. Let's put Overflow to 1 so that you can play 2 copies of Overload Fusion. Well, now they're limiting it to 2 so you can play it with Infinity. But you're still, like, now it's conflicting with the Cyberload Fusion again. So, I don't know. Are they going to take Cyberload Fusion off the list now? This is annoying, to be honest. This is like a slap in the face. Okay, I haven't seen the full ban list yet. Maybe they're going to just unlimit Cyberload Fusion. If that's the case, then this is a genuine buff. But for them to go back on what they did previously, which they called a buff, and then call it a buff again, just looks terrible. I can understand the idea, seeing as Infinity wasn't in the game before, but to be honest, I'm not sure that Infinity should have been limited 1 to begin with. Yeah, it's a really good card, but it's really hard to make outside of light machines, to be honest. Okay. Oh! I am shocked that I did not get a flood of ats on my Discord. Genuinely surprised, because I've asked for Needle Sealing to get limited 3 in like 4 different ban list prediction videos. I've been calling for Needle Sealing to be limited 3 since Orchest was in the meta. I hate this card. I am sick and tired of this card existing. And I'm tired of pretending like this is a normal trap that people have played fairly. This is always a card that is used in combination with destruction protection effects like Dingirsu and Trickstar Festival. So it's always a Raigeki. Always. It is not played in a situation where you cannot make it a Raigeki. So I always thought it was stupid that this card was not limited to 3. And I've asked for it to be limited to 3 multiple times in multiple metas where it was a problem. And finally it's been done. Oh, this is the best part of the list by far. Thank you, Konami. You've done so good today. Rip in peace, Bozo. You will not be missed. Dang, Barrel Canary is getting limited 3 too. That's 4 hits to Lyrilusk on 1 ban list. That's rough. I mean, I can tell that there's not going to be another Lyrilusk hit right after it, so that's fair. But I mean, still, okay. So Lyrilusk can't play limit 3 cards. They can't play. They can't play Warbler, and now they can't play Ensemble Robin or limit 1 cards. That's a lot of hits. I think Lyrilusk is going to be lucky to be tier 3 at this point. They might just drop off the tier list entirely, but that would be, and that's frustrating because the skill is the problem. They should just kill the skill. If they nerf the skill as well, because I haven't looked at the skill list yet. If they nerf the skill as well, this deck is dead. That's crazy. Ghost Trick Jack Frost is going from limit 2 to limit 3. When your opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can change this opponent's monster to face down defense position if you do special summon this card from your hand to face down defense position. That's weird. Okay, so this card was limit 2, if you don't understand. This card was limit 2 so that it wouldn't be played with Kiteroid. Because it doesn't require you to play Ghost Trick cards. So apparently Ghost Trick is so powerful that they decided, okay, we would rather take Jack Frost away from Ghost Trick players than allow stall players to play Jack Frost. And Konami hates stall. Every single limit in the last box was designed to mess with stall decks. They print new stall cards all the time at limit 1 and limit 2. They really don't want a generic burn stall deck to work at all. So Ghost Trick's numbers have to be insane for them to willingly unpair a card like Jack Frost which will literally stop an attack and like stop two attacks because it negates one and then you special summon it in defense position to protect itself against another. This is Kiteroid, and now you could play like 5 Kiteroids. That's stupid. This change will be abused. I guarantee you. Stall players have been waiting for Konami to make a mistake like this. The degenerate stall players now have a way to just stop you from hitting them 10 times. 2 Kiteroids, 3 Jack Frost. That is 10 attacks that are going to be negated from the hand. That is absurd. Okay. So apparently Ghost Tricks are bad. Lantern is also being limited to 3. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand and face down defense position. Okay. Okay. They will probably play Lantern, like stall decks will probably play Lantern over Jack Frost just because Lantern just negates the attack, which is a lot better than flipping the opponent's monster face down because it doesn't work on linked monsters. Draco Berserker of the Tenyi is unlimited. What? I've actually never seen this card text, like this justification text before. Despite its power, this card's limitation will be removed in order to promote diversification in the metagame. That's insane. They are literally, like, Konami at this point is literally like, we need Draco Berserker in the game to stop these other decks. So they're like, okay, we're sorry, Synchro decks. We hit you a little hard. Okay, you guys can play Crystal Wing and Draco Berserker now. Please come fix the meta. I got you. You say that I can play Draco Berserker and Speedroids? My guy. We're on the same wavelength now. Thank you, Konami. Best patch ever. Dogmatica Punishment. Going from limit 3 to unlimited. Again, despite its power, this card's limitation will be removed in order to promote diversification in the metagame. I think that Konami was actually really surprised at how few people even experimented with Dogmatica. It's a really good deck, and Dogmatica Punishment is like a very, very powerful form of removal. It sees play in a lot of decks, but that's the main reason that Dogmatica Punishment sees play in Master Duel and other deck lists is because there are a lot of good targets for sending directly from the extra deck to the graveyard, like Elder Entity Entis, for example, which triggers when Elder Entity Entis is sent to the graveyard, you can destroy a card. So Dogmatica Punishment becomes like a pop 2. We don't have too many cards like that in the game. Titaniclad is one, obviously, and that's Dogmatica Punishment is meant to be played with Titaniclad. But there genuinely aren't too many of them. I'm hoping that this is an indication they're going to give us more Dogmatica cards soon, because I mean they did release Dogmatica and they haven't really followed up since then, and it's been a couple of months, so they should give us more like branded Dogmatica cards, and hopefully that's their thought process. Because I mean, well, and that's fair, like. They shouldn't expect people to play branded Dogmatica when, like, Dogmatica Punishment conflicts with, what's it called? Fusion Deployment. Because Fusion Deployment is the best card for Fallen of Albaz. And I guess they maybe realized that. But yeah, no, I'm sure Konami is shocked that they released a card like Dogmatica Punishment and no one's playing it. So, this unlimit was justified. Ensemble Robin is unlimited. Okay, fair enough. I guess then right. I was about to say what this doesn't hit Lyra said, but that's right. People are making Assembled Nightingale in Predaplants. I forgot that they were doing that. Okay, fair enough. Brave Neos is unlimited. Oh, that's cool. That card's been limit 2 for ages. So, yeah, I think that they kind of just forgot that Brave Neos was limited. I think the reason that Brave Neos was limited for so long was so that you couldn't mill Kiteroid with it. because Kiteroid does have a Grave effect to negate effects, and Brave Neos can be fused with literally any effect monster. But I guess they just don't care at this point. Like, one direct attack negates from Kiteroid at the graveyard isn't that big of a deal anymore. TG limited removal is unlimited. That's interesting. TG limited removal was never a card that was really played at 3 because the skill lets you literally search it. But maybe they're thinking that people will start playing TG limited removal and skills that aren't the specific one for it. And they want people to be able to do that. I think that's fine. This is a good patch. This is a good patch. Dark Lord Ixchel going from limit 1 to unlimited. Yes, please. Okay. All right. I see you, Konami. You want Dark Lords to see play? This is what you do. Let's get started. Get chat. Let's cook. Charge of the Light Brigade? Hold up. Let's not bring Lightsworns back. Lightsworns are cancer. Can we not unlimit Lightsworns? That deck is a problem. Okay, Charge of the Light Brigade going from limit 2 to unlimited. Oh no. I'm terrified of this. Neos Kluger is being unlimited. Okay, cool. I mean, Neos Kluger was initially limited to 3, and then they like unlimited Neos Fusion specifically for this deck. And now Neos Kluger is unlimited, so that does mean that like the Eternal Bond deck is basically freed now. They can play whatever they want with Brave Neos and Neos Kluger unlimited. That's cool. Oh, Chaos Form is unlimited. This took them a while. They forgot about BLS. Okay, Chaos Form being unlimited is good. I will let Ray Miseri know about that. Captain Roland has been unlimited. That's good. That deck is like stopped being played at all. Emerald Bird. Oh my god, thank God. The Lunalights get unlimited, finally. Like a year after they were printed. It's good that these old Lunalight cards are finally off the limit list. Is the other one? Oh, the other one's not. What's still limited? Yellow Martin, right? Yellow Martin is still limit 3, right? Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Okay, alright, wow, that was a lot of changes. It's 27 minutes already, okay. I'm just going to make the skill list as a separate video then. Thanks a lot, guys. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.